Hey y'all, it's your girl Meesh, and welcome to a new year of the episode Love Meesh podcast, where I share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, but no subject is off limits. It's a billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. So welcome to my world, and let the conversation continue.
Hold up.
Hey loves, and welcome to another episode of Love Meesh podcast. Thank you a million for tuning in. There's millions of podcasts out there, and you clicked on this one, so I thank you so very much. So we're going to continue on with part 2 of Rona V, where I will introduce you to 3 of my most favorite teachers that I follow on YouTube. I will have the link in the descriptions, and I have listed their names on their portion of the podcast. Let me just give a disclaimer. My heart goes out to every single person that has lost a family member due to the coronavirus, COVID-19. I would not wish that on my worst nightmare. I don't think people really understand where this is coming from, how to get rid of it, how to cure it. I think it's like a mystery. People that have stayed home are now getting sick, but remember, it's supposed to be people that are going out. Everyone's wearing masks. People are still getting sick. It's just like, who really knows what's going on here? So it's like a really big mystery. And again, I just wouldn't wish death on anyone, whether it's a virus or not. I was looking for a picture to put on the podcast, and it just hit me. COVID-19. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Did anybody hear about coronavirus in 2019? We did not hear about this until 2020. Am I the only one that caught that? Now, people were sick. People were told it was the flu, XYZ, in 2019. We didn't hear coronavirus until 2020. So they have the nerve to call this COVID-19 when they didn't even tell us about it until 2020. So that's how much I trust the government. You knew about something months before we did, which means, what do you know about it now that we haven't even discovered that information yet? So never, ever, ever put your health in the hands of anyone else, government or not. Research and study for yourself, please. You are your number one defense. My ex told me that. You are your number one defense. If you can't take care of you, then who else would you trust to do it? Okay? So we just need to go back to exercising, sunlight. When you exercise, you're able to breathe in more oxygen. That oxygen is helping your blood flow through all of the organs in your body, okay? You're sweating. You're getting the bacteria out of your pores. All of that is necessary for health. If you go research coronavirus, because it's happened before, the patients were out fucking side, y'all. They had the beds outside with tents, with the nurses checking on them under the sunlight. So for them to tell us to stay inside, and did not just mention people that were staying inside are ill. Hello, because we need sunlight, just like the plants. So don't tell us to stay inside. And I'm glad that I still see people going outside and exercising and XYZ, because we need the sun. Nothing on this planet would exist without the sun. Hello. Researching herbs and different things for your body. I will keep screaming from the mountaintops, colloidal silver. You're actually going to hear one of my teachers, actually 2 of them, bing, bing, mention it. Okay? So just because you don't know about something doesn't mean that it's not true and it doesn't work. And if you type in colloidal silver and see a blue man and that's all the research you do, shame on you. You need to research more, okay? You don't just take one thing and go with it. You research over and over again, and then you sit down with yourself and say, self, what do you think? And you go with your own conclusion, because at the end of the day, you won't steer yourself wrong. If you've looked at facts and you're, testing it against your heart, your mind, your soul, your intuition, you should come up with the correct answer. And then also look into holistic healers. Some call them shamans, some call them medicine men, some call them, natural herbalists. The point I'm trying to get to is they don't rely on man-made medicines for treatment. They rely on what God gave us, which is Mother Nature, which is Earth. Okay? So I don't care how much you hate the name shaman, or even witches use herbs or whatever. You can't hate them and the different names that they've been given when they are using something that God created. They aren't making up these plants and then using medicine. They are picking plants already in the ground that God gave us. So put your ego down and your religion down for a minute and just let's logically think about this. God made everything and said that it was good, correct? So don't judge someone because society has given them the title of a witch and they're using plants and making herbs. Don't say, I don't want that, because that's witchcraft. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. They wouldn't be able to make those herbs without the plants God gave them. Am I right? Okay, so if you just put all of that to the side, everything will make sense. So let me just recap. Sunlight, we need that. Exercise, we need that. Herbs, research all on your own, we need that. And then just stepping outside of the box. If you don't know a lot of things, it's time to learn. You have a computer system. We know how far the computer has come. It used to be so big it would fill up a room. And then they got it into a box size. It was still so big to carry it around. Then they got it to, monitor and laptop. Desktop mode. Then they got it to laptop. Now they got air. They made it into iPads, now phones and watches. Come on, y'all. We should be ashamed of ourselves at the lack of knowledge that we possessed when knowledge is at our fingertips. It's quite embarrassing, actually. Personally, I wish I didn't have to go to work. I wish I didn't have to think about bills and stuff so that I could be in a library just reading and studying all day. Like, you can never not benefit from learning. It's always going to be beneficial. But you have to learn how to work and balance time and make time for family and friends and all this other stuff. But still, there's a virus, and if you haven't started researching that, then shame. Instead of being shameful, just take this opportunity now and research. What is it? What cures? What can you do for yourself or your family? It's not just wash your hands, people. We've been washing our hands for decades. Okay? It's not just that. I'm going to be honest with you. In my last episode, I said that this was cattle. But they not telling y'all to not eat meat now, are they? And when you go in the stores, the meat aisles, the freezers, the meat section, they're all empty. Why are we still consuming this meat? And they've already said the virus is in animals. Cats and dogs, that means cattle too. And if they're not even testing all of us, they damn sure not testing those cattle. But you steady eating it. It's time to start fasting. It's time to do water fast, juice fast. It's time to detox. It is time. Mother Nature has shaken herself up. Okay? Things that used to work aren't working. Everybody want to believe in, immunization so much. But where has immunization got us? We all have been infected with this shit. So obviously it don't work. It's not, as beneficial as they're making it seem. Okay? So let's start. Let's go back to the basics. Be your number one defense. Research with this laptop full of infinite wisdom at your fingertips. And take care of yourself, and especially those that have children. Take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. Okay? Don't trust anyone outside of yourself, especially not the government. Do you know they get a check when you're born and they get a check when you die? So how valuable are you? You're valuable no matter what, whether you live or die. Okay? But we don't want to have death in our equation. We want to live. That's not how they see it. They get a check whether when you're born and when you die. So however long you live, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be able to get a check. So yes, the government has a policy on your ass. So they get a check whether you signed up for a policy for your family or not. So some people, families are struggling to bury them, and the government already done got a check the moment the doctor called your time of death. So I'm going to let you guys listen to my 3 favorite teachers. And there's more to come. I think everybody that you meet in life is really a teacher and is trying to teach you something. You just have to pay attention. And I actually saw a quote and I got so mad I turned my phone off. But the quote was like, every problem that you discover, or everything that's a problem, everything that bothers you is an internal issue. So in other words, if it rubs you the wrong way, it's a personal problem. And you gotta look yourself in the mirror and figure that out. And I was like, oh no. So if I be like, oh, I don't like the way she's so-and-so, it's really something in me that I got to figure out. It has nothing to do with that other individual. And I did not want to hear that. So before I allow you all to listen to my professors that I have lined up, it is Mother's Day. So I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Being a parent, mother or father, is an extremely hard job. You have been given the task of raising a human being, trying not to kill them, give them good morals, and education to be good, outstanding citizens in this world, while you're trying to manage yourself, work, pay bills, all of that extra good stuff. I can't imagine what all that role entails, but I do thank you all for birthing children so that I can partake with being an auntie or a cousin or a godmom or whatever name they're going to give me, because children are blessings. So I really am thankful to you all. And a special shout out to my godson Kingston. Him got me a coffee cup that says best godmother ever, and I was not expecting that. That was so cute. And shout out to my sister. She made me some wine glasses and reminded me that when you are an aunt, you kind of share the responsibilities of mommy, and I really appreciate that. And shout out to Sharita, because she made me a soulful vegan plate, and oh my God, it was so good. Nothing is left. Thank you, Sharita. All right, so without further ado, we're going to hear some more information on how you can protect yourself against Rona V. And this is going to be more from a spiritual aspect. So I hope you guys enjoy.
This is bullshit. It's all lies. I'm sorry to tell you. Even the information that you guys are spreading around and that the healthcare field is releasing is lies, okay? It said that the coronavirus can last on a surface for 5 days. Number one, it can be killed in 80-degree heat, okay? Any virus can be killed with heat or can be shocked and cold. Coronavirus is not killing people. It's the 5G radiation that they're pumping out. Number one, through your phone. Number two, through these cell towers that they're installing right now as you're at home in your cozy house. It's going to give you flu-like symptoms so bad that you're going to think you have coronavirus, but it's actually not coronavirus. It's the chemical radiation coming from the 5G towers that they are installing.
And shout out to my brother Shaman Mystic too for he sent me some survival stuff last night, a picture of some survival stuff that he's getting into, and I'm like, I'm like, yo, that's what's up, that's what's up. I'm glad to see other spiritual people taking this thing serious, because this is just a test, family. Trust me, and I'm gonna explain why all this is a test, right? Because of Agenda 21. You guys can look up something called Agenda 21, and it goes into a sustainable development, and it goes into an idea or a plan that they want to implement on the earth by 2030, right? By 2030. So I want you guys to understand this. I want you guys to understand this, right? Right now, there's a test going on to see how people respond to things, right? There's a test going on to see how people respond to things, okay? People are responding. There's a test going on to see how people respond to things because this is all part of a plan, right? So they want to see what happens to people when you stay home. Can people stay home? That's been working in some cases. In other cases, they had to literally put certain states on lockdown because people all at the beach, coronavirus going around. These people at the beach, you know what I mean? Selena Ostrom, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And for anyone that gives me a donation, I don't see it. I appreciate it. So what's happening is, you got people out at the beach and they could be spreading this coronavirus thing, right? And we're gonna go into deeper to what this thing really is. They could be spreading it, but they're all out and about. They're not taking it serious. They're just trying to live life. And I understand, hey, live your life, live your best life, right? But you got to be mindful. You got to be smart so you don't spread this thing, right? So they're seeing who can stay home, who can't. You're also seeing changes in education system, right? And what's happening is a lot of children right now are going to school from home, right? So they're testing this thing out. So they call it, this is a part of the whole problem reaction solution. The whole problem reaction solution thing that they do. They did it on 9/11. They do it a lot of times, after 9/11, the Patriot Act came, right? So they do it a lot of times to actually implement new ideas and new rules and regulations on the people, right? So you create a problem. If there's not a problem, you create one. The reaction will be people always panic. The people panic. That's just what happens. The solution to that will be the people will come to the government and say, hey, what are we going to do? Exactly like people are doing right now. And the government's like, oh yeah, I'll create a bill and give you a stimulus package, Yeah, I'll give you a bag, I'll give you some money, and you can boost the economy when there really is no money, right? Money doesn't even exist. The only real money is gold and silver. So you're dealing with debt, you're dealing with fiat currency, right? And when they do give out these stimulus packages, if you guys use it correctly, you can put your family in a position to have real wealth, to obtain real wealth. This is why this coronavirus thing is causing great change, right? It's causing great change. And if people use the energy correctly for this whole thing they're doing right now, you can actually be better off in the next 10 years, right? And be more prepared, right? So, and I keep looking at my little notes I wrote down so I forget to tell you guys anything. So they're testing things out. They're seeing how people respond to staying home because this is the plan in the future. They want robots to run everything, family. Brother Yusuf been saying this since 2018, right? I did a whole video in 2018 called "Is the Antichrist a Real Thing or Person?" Right? And the truth is, no, it's not a real person, but it's artificial intelligence. You see these CEOs stepping down and doing it because the computers are getting ready to take over. This is a fact, right? And this is not fear mongering. Brother Yusuf don't push fear, right? I'm just giving you guys things that's going to happen. But I always give you solutions, right? I don't ever just put fear out there and don't give you guys any solutions, which I'm going to do in the video. So artificial intelligence can be a bad thing or a good thing, right? I mean, if you look at your own human body, this is high level technology right here, right? This is technology, right? And you don't know it's so advanced, we don't really understand what type of technology it is to other civilizations that are beyond us, right? This can be computers to them, right? Because this is not even you. You're living in a suit, right? This is not even a real you. Your soul is living inside of a suit, right? That you think is real. Some of us have been tricked to think that this is real, and this is not real at all. This is an illusion. So I want you guys to really think deep on that. You're living in an illusion already, right? So artificial intelligence is a false consciousness that thinks it's real also, right? And they actually make artificial intelligence out of melanin if you really study it deeper, right? Because melanin has its own consciousness. So they actually make a lot of this artificial intelligence out of melanin, right? And everybody has melanin. It doesn't matter if it's phenomelanin or EU melanin, right? Some people have it more in their organs, and some people have expressed it on the outside and the inside, right? So the whole thing is, if you didn't have melanin, you wouldn't be alive. That's a fact, because you got to have that key essence of life inside you to even be alive, to even be considered alive, right? So I want you guys to understand that they're getting ready to have robots and artificial intelligence take over. So what they're doing is they're seeing if people can stay home, right? They're seeing that people can let the robots run the society, right? It's not happening fully right now, but it's going to happen, right? Over the next 10 years, right? And all that other stuff I talked about with technology merging with spirituality, technology merging with the medical system, you're going to start to see signs of that. It's going to start to happen, right? So what I'm saying is, this is going to be a hell for some people. And in some people, it's going to be a heaven, right? Because I talked also about the consciousness of the people starting to split, right? Some people are going to go into a whole new reality with this thing, and some people are going to be stuck, and they're going to be fighting the government, and they're going to be stuck on this in this hell state. This is 100% facts. So right now, we got people on the planet that are still in church, right? And I always tell my friends that the dead bury the dead, right? Because some people just ain't going to wake up, right? They're going to do what they do. But in their reality, Jesus is still coming back. And guess what? These people still live on the same planet as us, right? They believe Jesus is coming back. They believe that the government is going to get them. We all going to concentration camps. This is their mind state. This is their mind state, right? And for some people, like myself and other people, we believe that the world's going to change. This is a great change. Some people believe it's only going to get worse. And I want y'all to be wary and careful of those people that only talk about fear and they don't give you any solutions, right? They fear. They got this coming. They got that coming. They're going to fuck us up over here. It ain't nowhere you can run, right? I know people that's running right now, right? I know people that's on the run right now from this thing, right? And it's crazy. It really is, because they're all stuck in fear. They think that this thing is all about fear, and it's not fear at all, right? You shouldn't be fearful. Be prepared. Don't be scared. Be prepared, right? So robots and artificial intelligence is taking over, family. I think 30% of Amazon's workforce, 30% of Amazon's workforce is robots, family. They already got robots. China has robots doing shit over there, right? So this is what's getting ready to happen, y'all. Artificial intelligence is about to take over. Just like Brother Yusuf been telling y'all since 2018, right? Go back and check the video. Is the Antichrist the real thing? I was talking about nanonite technology. I was talking about 5G coming out. And I broke the science of it dealing with American gods. Mr. World, who's nothing but artificial intelligence. You know what I mean? So I'm telling y'all the truth about what's happening right now and what's getting ready to happen, right? So you don't have to be fearful. Understand that this is change. This is all part of a process. And over the next 10 years, it's going to be bad for some people and it's going to be good for some people. It's all about who steps up and accepts change. You can't stop what's only thing that's constant in the universe is change. Don't try to stop it. Don't be scared. Be prepared in case the worst happens. Now, there's a book that came out, and I'm pretty sure all you guys on here heard about it. I think it's called The Eyes of Darkness, right? And that's somebody put out on the internet that this man in 1981 wrote this book and said that, he was saying that, what he was saying. He said, he talked about the Wuhan virus was coming out in 2020. This is 1981, this book was written, if I'm not mistaken. And he called it the Wuhan virus, and that's where the virus actually started at, right? And he said that it was going to come out suddenly, and then it was going to disappear as suddenly as it came, right? But he did say in 10 years later that it was going to come back. Think about that. So we're going to take everything this man said seriously, right? And then we're not going to believe that this last part of the book where he said it's going to come back was not the last part of the book, but this part that they showed where it said it's going to come back in 10 years. We're not going to believe that part. No, you got to believe that part. You got to look into it. You got to take things more serious. Because brother, you 17 years, I'll be prepared for that, right? I'm not playing no games with this thing. I'm gonna still do my spirituality. I'm all about evolution, but I ain't no fool either. You still gotta live in this world. You gotta live with this chaos, and order comes out of chaos. So anybody that can see this thing that it's affecting the school system, it's affecting the health field, it's affecting the money system, right? Bitcoin and all that, get ready. It's about to come up, right? It's affecting everything. Right? Anything you name, this virus is affecting it. So when you see something like this that's affecting the whole world, get ready for a worldly change, because order comes out of chaos, family. Order comes out of chaos. And, this is something that you guys really need to understand, because this is what's happening, right? I want you guys to study something called the Internet of Things, right? The Internet of Things talks about how they're going to pretty much have everything connected to the internet, especially with this 5G coming, right? everything is getting ready to connect to the internet. They even got something out now called smart wallpaper. You know what I'm saying? So you can put wallpaper up in your house and this shit is connected to the goddamn internet. And I guarantee y'all in the next 10 years, the internet will be free. There's no way you can make sure people are constantly connected to the internet. There's no way you can make sure people are constantly connected to the internet if it's not free. It's the only way you can do it. Because somebody get their internet shut off, you don't know what they did for the whole day. So it's going to be free. I can guarantee y'all that. If it's not free, it's going to be like $2, $3 for the internet. So watch, family. So the Internet of Things talks about everything will be connected to the internet, including you. So they're already doing it right now with smartwatches, you know, and we all got smartwatches, right? And smartwatch can track your heartbeat. What do you think this information is going? It's going back to a company, and that company has an artificial intelligence. A lot of these big companies like Google and Amazon, they own a lot of these small companies, right? So say you walk into Whole Foods, right? You walk into Whole Foods and your watch, you know, the GPS on the watch just tracked you. Hey, how was your visit at Whole Foods? Guess what? Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. So guess what happened? Technology stocks, absolutely. Also look up stocks that's dealing with 5G, which is something I invested in a long time ago. 5G, these Westworld, watch it. My brother T. Nelson just said, watch Westworld. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Coronavirus. So that's what Christ energy tends to do. Okay. Speaking of the industry within itself, we had, you know, because it's just how you read things. I even saw on Instagram that Diddy posted the Three Kings. He posted the Three Kings today, which was supposedly Nas, him, and Jay-Z. All right, those are the Three Kings. Where are they going? Are they about to make a voyage, a little journey? All right, where are they going? All right, so he posted the Three Kings today. And then I saw that today's the anniversary of Life After Death, Biggie. It's all out there and they're all a part of this, you know, script. So it's just a matter of, again, are you able to pay attention to that? Not that it really means anything to you. It's just a marker of reference. Okay, that's what a lot of the whole celebrity thing, that's really their job, and that's what they do anyway, is just present to you a script and recognizing where you are in the times, and nothing more, nothing less. So yes, we are in the middle. We are in the middle of BC and AL. These are some interesting times right now. So we are literally coming into the new world. And the storm, right? It's kind of like the storm, the start of the storm, the beginning of the storm, and those who survive the storm will come out on the other side of that AD or AL, and BC, or before Corona, will be history or her story. It'll just be a story that we refer to as the ancient times. So pay attention to that. You know, this is why it's important to while you're still here, because again, centuries from now, this will BC, pre-2020 will be referred to as BC, guys. All right. So how do you want to be remembered? What is your purpose? Are you really following your true path during these times? Not just to present legacy, because what's happening here, this is what I'm just recognizing. What's happening here is that the gods, all right, the gods of today are simply trying to restore their legacy and restore their cults, keep their cults going. You know, even though the tides are changing, they know that they have to change with those tides. So we have a lot of the old gods, those old archetypes that follow through the many cycles. Oh, this camera. Trying to get it. Okay, there we go. These old gods that follow the cycles to make sure that they remain relevant per cycle. And in that relevancy, it's basically kind of like creating new religion amongst themselves. Some of the gods, not all of them, so are we creating like our new, are we still trying to keep our cults intact? You have the cult of this, the cult of that. So there are just some different changes going on, and the gods are basically making sure that they are putting a stamp on how they want to be remembered in this new world. And so they're going to tell their own BC stories. All right. So are you writing your own BC story? Are you going to make sure that your BC reflects your AL so that it is not misinterpreted for your future generations to come?
At TV has given them the foundations to be almost unlimited with what kind of nightmares or dreams they can cook up. So just remember that. That's the mental immunity. But if you wanted to practice in certain ways, you can go at any of these to fix all of them. Okay? Because metaphysically, you can do things metaphysically that affect your physical body. You can do things mentally that affect you spiritually. So these systems are intertwined. There's not bodies unless we're dissecting them and trying to refer to all of them. It is all one body. When you feel physically sick, spiritually, you don't necessarily feel like going to raise the rooftops either. Mentally, you don't feel like writing papers and bringing all this mental awareness to everything. So what one benefits affects the others. What one when one is in disarray, it affects the others. Okay. So this means that you can grab either one of those, especially the one that you have the most grip in, to actually strengthen the other. So if it's just about the physical immunity, which I want to address, your first lines of defense are 1, chaga, that mushroom, and its subset. I'm not going to get all technical here with you, but what chaga has is it has many things that put what you would see as like shells around your cells, shells and forms of immunity that give you several layers of protection. Okay? From, as I said, mental, spiritual, and physical blows at your immunity. Okay? You have chaga. The next thing, colloidal silver and nebulizer. Our brother Diego had brought that to my attention again last night. And I'm like, yes, this is perfect because I'm going to go in about this tomorrow. And that one has slipped my mind a little bit. But colloidal silver and the nebulizer. Remember, the nebulizer is the thing that it just sprays mist. You put the colloidal silver in there and you breathe that in all of this. Remember, the military is using this. This is not something that is like another, this is not snake oil. In all of this, the ventricle systems, and all of this, anything, it's out. And it's not so harmful for your body. Because some folks, they're binging on MMS right now, and that's not going to strengthen your immune system, actually. That's going to kill your good bacteria. Also, to fortify the immune system, enzymes, probiotics. I mean, do not delay in this. I'm not talking about things that we just provide on the store. We have colloidal silver. We don't have nebulizers. Chaga, I'm talking to my Connect over there where the chaga is pure and clean, but there's no chaga yet. But you can go find chaga. Chaga's out there. This is about real facts of boosting your immunity mentally, spiritually, physically, by getting alignment with the nobles and the elements. That's what they do. It's just what they do. And the more you connect with Mother, It quantifies the experience, and you'll find yourself into a higher stage as the portals keep opening because there's less fog, less clouds, less confusion on the astral planes as we go forward. Folks are made to sit down. What do you think? Not think, you should know. We talked about what stadiums are and how everybody's in there cheering for this duality and how the energy is being used because the place is generally configured on a portal and that how they're directing. Now that's over with. It's like spiritual exhaust clogging up the astral plane with all these vain and impure thoughts. Now it ain't there. So this is the time for you to get your transmission through. You know how you feel like that there's also like this window of opportunity open? This is what this is about. So right now, you will be heard by your ancestors more clearly than any other time with all of this combined. It's not even just one thing. I've talked about several things in this build. So now you have your chaga. All this is inexpensive too. You have your colloidal silver. You can even get a silver lung machine and actually make your own colloidal. Make it for others that are in your neighborhood. Like the thing about colloidal silver, when you get a silver lung machine, is you can make gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons because it's all the anode. It's an anode. So all you got to do is clean the anode and go in for another batch. And then it turns that light golden, or you don't even have to have the little activator. You can just use the white version. But if you can make colloidal silver, and you can nebulize and you can keep all of your ventricles in all this system clean. And this is subconsciously and consciously also going to purify many things that are going on inside the body and give it that extra level of stability and support to the immune system. For those that are a bit more fancy, huh? C60. You know, if you can make that venture, C60 is a little bit more expensive, but C60, that same effect of building a defense around the cellular structure. This is what C60 does and is known to do. Check your reviews as far as making sure you're getting some good C60. On the ground, in the physical, in the house, I'm on lockdown. What am I supposed to do? I'm on lockdown. Okay, this is the perfect opportunity. Instead of trying to run from it, like we were trained to run into the fire, not away from it. And as everyone may know here, I did deal with a situation with the fire just recently, and I was able to bring that fire under control, and I was able to even grow and expand further because of what that fire, the little bit that fire was able to consume. But if I had sat there in shock or ran away from the fire, I would have lost everything. So again, we were trained to run into the fire, not away from it. So in that respect, if you're dealing with, let's say, a situation on the ground where you feel like that lockdown may be imminent, some of the things that you need very quickly to stabilize yourself rather than other things, you know, because you can go and buy 3 months worth of food. That's not a bad idea, right? Far as power is concerned, okay, first of all, let me rewind here. This is a drill, okay? Let me make sure. Let me see how many people are on this line. Okay, 109. At least somebody's listening here to convey to the other 100 people that are also supposed to be here exactly what they need to be doing. This is a drill. Okay, treat this like a drill. A while ago, we had the situation current in the house where there's earthquakes from time to time, right? And the house is seismically loaded, but who knows? And I realized that I would rather be outside than inside. Like if I'm going to go, I'd rather get swallowed up by the earth than have some beam come and hit me in the head. And be other, you know, the mind is very creative, so it'll take you through the whole process. So I realized that, man, I need to start like doing drills. So of course, you know, day in, day out, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, no drill. Now, to be honest, as a member of the resistance, like that's all we should be doing is drills at time, because when you do drills, it doesn't mean all the time that the situation that you're dealing with may pan out and to be in the worst, horrible situation ever. It just means that you're actually prepared to, if it starts turning in that direction. So I would advise you, instead of freaking yourself out right now, to basically treat this like a drill. This allows you to be very serious about what you're doing, but not completely accept things that you haven't necessarily seen yet and manifest that into your space. Okay? You get where I'm coming from? It's a drill. So you're to treat it like a drill. And when we have a drill, we treat drills like it's really happening. That's the only way the drill can be effective. So this is how you go into the mode of what you would be doing anyway if you had to become sovereign, because this is really where we're at here. if you had to become sovereign, like I found myself, I was online and I was looking at, now I finally got the wattages down for solar panels and how long that takes to charge, stuff that I had been meaning to do. But now I know how it works. And as I started thinking about the whole situation, if I just even bought a little bit of land and put a yurt there and then plugged a Yeti in and had my little power. And yeah, I wouldn't have all this stuff. This stuff maybe in a dystopian fallout, this would all be catching cobwebs and dogs and monkeys would be tearing it up. But I would be cool in my little yurt and dialing into nature. And if I was sustainable, I would feel great. So I started running myself through the drill about what it is that would make me sustainable rather than like the big plans. If I had to like think about this right now, what would this really entail? And what it would entail is me actually going to get a lot of land, just a plantel of land. And then even if I couldn't be there at this moment or start the process, at least paying someone to start the process. Now, I know someone out there, you should do it yourself. But hey, this is a drill. So in situations like this, you do what you can. So if you already had someone or even you yourself starting to grow the food, you can start to see how much your consumption, how much you're really consuming and how much you really need in the first place. So what I'm saying is that a personal farm is a good place to start. And if that's not going to be in your apartment building right now, which would maybe be a little bit difficult, then you can start thinking of getting a place that may not be these 100,000 acres that you was eventually going to buy in your mind and your manifestation. It may be something right now to get started on. But then so you can visualize this. And I'm just giving you the real facts here about how I even position myself and how I thought about this and how I changed my ideals about what I'm going to do right now since the drill has already started. The main thing is that if you get into another place and you're not able to produce any food there, but even if you have land, if there's no food there, this presents a problem right away. So start dealing with that possible problem now. How am I going to eat? What am I growing that I can keep eating from? Sprouts come to mind here. Remember that sprout machine that you knew was going to help you with your health, but you've been putting that off too? Get the sprout machine. Now you have all these sprouts, and now you can start eating these sprouts and to see how much of these sprouts really can you eat before you need another form, another stable. So I'm saying if you're actually inside of an apartment building, you don't have any land yet, you don't have a position to buy any land, sprout machine then. And as I said, it's a big difference between what kind of 5-course meal I'm going to have tonight versus what do I need to actually survive. Okay, so you start thinking about things. And again, I haven't done all the homework for you because we're all in different environments and we have different things going on in our environment. But you start thinking about the things that you can keep producing in abundance. Again, it's a drill. So don't go into the whole, I'm in a frenzy, they're stealing all the toilet paper. I mean, start thinking, well, if all the toilet paper is gone, I would just kind of wash myself the way that we used to wash ourselves, and where countries that don't even use toilet paper actually wash themselves. They use the duvet thing. So you go get a duvet. I mean, what? So I'm just saying this is the perfect time to actually begin to work on your sovereignty and have a real reason to, because other than that, you wouldn't even do it. To be honest, I'm telling you, the mother was like, you wouldn't even be doing this. The grandma's like, you wouldn't even be doing this if I turn the heat up on y'all up in there. You got to do this at some point, my child. Okay, I'm going to start shaking this up a little bit, make some shake. So that way you can vibrate a little bit differently so you can feel the urgency of you getting into sovereignty, because you could have been here already. You could have been cleaning out yourself. You could have been boosting your immune system. All this stuff has to do with also the higher levels of your consciousness. So we'll get you there, and, by all means. So here it is. So you have this. Now let me find my food supply. Like they even, the myths of the reptilians, which I'm still trying to make heads and tails of. The reptilians are keeping us around because we're their food supply, and they like to keep their food supply close. I don't know if that's necessarily the story, but I know it is a good idea to keep your food supply close. So whatever it is that your food supply is, let's start seeing if you can create a food supply for yourself that you can sustain yourself with. And when you do this, spiritually, you level up anyway. So you have a reason to do it. You have focus also. I'm telling you this here so that you can start focusing. Because when Chicken Little is running around like the sky is falling, you will miss what would actually allow you to hold it up. So this is one thing you have, figuring out your food situation. Okay? And you'll be very creative, and it'll actually all work for you. And then you'll actually be there, and you'll lower even the amount of money that you're spending on rent, and then even and you're spending on food. And then when the situation cures itself, and it always does, every sickness we've had always get cured. That's a sign of the God. The planet is going to cure itself. But in this process, by the way, I doubt that there's actually any person here that has the coronavirus, by the way. Oh, I said it. But I don't think anybody here has it. This kind of lets you know where you're at with this. Okay? If you're accepting somebody else's scenario and what they're going through, then that's something that you've accepted. But I believe that every single person here is not suffering from anything, but does need a wake-up call about what they need to be doing about their sovereignty, since this is Sovereignty 2020. And instead of like with this big dream about how you're going to go to Bali, buy this house on stilts, and all these different things that are all dreams, they're not manifesting yet. Truth is going to show you how to create a cornerstone first. How to start somewhere, then feel comfortable with that, and then that fortify you to the level of being able to get to your next phase. And then how to not keep saying tomorrow, but starting right now and then doing it right where you're at, right? Because you need to. So Yeti also is a pretty strong backup or power system. Okay, I've been searching for this for a while. It's actually Goal Zero. Goal Zero is the name of the company. Maybe those can share a link here for that just to help me out with this as far as getting stuff to the chat here. I will only say it verbally. I'm not going to go to the screen share and everything. But Goal Zero is also on Amazon, makes a line of products that actually solve the power problem. Because sometimes you may even have your nebulizer that needs to be charged up. You may have somebody may be on some support, respiratory support that they need power for. You may have a refrigerator with all your goods in it that you still need to power. So you're going to probably need some power in your whole sovereign scenario. But if you go and put solar panels all over your house and create a bunch of stuff that you can't even move around, maybe this is not even the most ideal way to do things. And I thought about all this. I've been thinking about this stuff for months and months and months, because I'm also out here off the grid anyway, and the power cuts out anyway around here from time to time. So I was like, well, shoot, if the power cut off, I still need to broadcast my message. So what am I going to do? What do I need? And what can I get to actually assist with that? And so I started investigating everything out there. And I started seeing all these whole house systems. And because I don't own the property that I'm actually on right now, I'm the custodian, but I'm not the owner. I didn't feel like I wanted to make that investment in building all these structures and all that. So I kept looking, and I found the Yetis. And they're briefcase solar panels, right? So how this works is that you have the Yeti power supply. The Yeti actually takes a power cords directly into it. They have the baby Yetis, which are like, I guess, Yeti 100, 200. These are based on the watts. 500, 1,000, 1,400, and 3,000. That's the big Yeti. And these units can deliver power and amperage. See, amperage is another big thing, because you can have power. Batteries have power in them, but it's not going to start up a drill. It's not going to start up a blender, because they need the amps. So Yeti pushes out the amps that devices need if they need a quick, strong demand of power, like induction devices. These are like things that where you're boiling water really fast. That's induction. They draw down a huge amount of power in a short period. They get the water boiling, but they need that amperage to be there. So the Yeti is capable of doing this. Also, the Yeti has solar panels, 100 watt and 200 watt solar panels. If this is something that you're going to be doing today, they're not available on Amazon, but go to B&H Photo. B&H Photo is where you find all the Yeti stuff actually in stock, because B&H, which is a Jewish organization, they keep heavy stocks of every product that they have on their site. So the 200 watt solar panel from Yeti is on B&H, but not on Amazon and not on their own site. I just want to give that information just in case you get there and you go into a panic, because a lot of stuff is actually gone now. A lot of people are already preparing. Colloidal silver is out of stock from mostly all companies until the 20th of March on Amazon. Now, colloidal silver is very easy to make, but it gives you an awareness that some people are already gearing up and know how to gear up. So the Yetis, again, are there. Now, of course, not everybody's going to have the money to go out here and buy a Yeti. And so you got to go into your alternative forms of power, your Bunsen burners, and to be able to cook the food, your candles. That stuff is basic, so you should already know what to do. I'm giving you also options of being able to maintain certain parts of your lifestyle and also getting yourself to an awareness of what you could do as you continuously boondock or move off the grid and how you would be covering your power sources. Okay, so you have the Yeti equipment. They have the solar panels. Also, I saw a YouTube video where a guy was using a propane generator by, I believe it was Ryobi. That's RYOBI. They were using this propane power generator by Ryobi to power a Yeti. And the guy could charge the Yeti, and the Yetis are, they hold a lot of power. This in case was the Yeti 1400. He can charge the Yeti with only a smidgen of the tank of the propane. He didn't do the math, but I'm sure that the actual the cost per wattage would be so low, it would far offset even how much you're paying for your power bills. So there are very proficient forms of alternative power that we have access to right now because companies have developed that and perfected it. And even like a 200-watt solar panel can charge a 1400-watt Yeti in one day at moderate sunlight. And again, these devices, you can plug your outlets and plug things right into them. Okay, so I'm just giving you like the drill, the equipment for the drill. Okay.
I hope you enjoyed listening to 3 of my favorite YouTube professors. I told you it was going to be on the spiritual side. They kind of go deep sometimes, but that's the wave that I'm on. And the first time I started listening to them, I was like, what? But the more you listen to them, you start to get the lingo. It's just a language. And the more you learn, you kind of build a staircase of word banks and different scenarios and knowledge that you can begin to understand where they're coming from, or just the different backgrounds of different terms. But no matter what you believe in, fear, perfect love casts out all fear. Okay? So if you believe in something, you have to have 100% faith in that. You will not leave this earth until it's your time to leave. Okay? So that means nothing can make you leave early. But in reverse, you can't stop from leaving. So whenever it's your time to go, nothing can stop you from going. So with that being said, you were put here on this earth for your specific calling, your specific duty, your specific light, your specific love, whatever that is. And you should be focused on that 100% until it's your time to ascend, elevate, go to heaven, or whatever resonates with you. And so don't let this distract you. It literally is a distraction. We have been able to work from home. You can spend more time with your family and your kids. You can save money from gas. You can save money from buying lunch all the time. And with that being said, you can eat more healthy because you're not relying on this restaurant to prepare greasy food. You can cook from home. You can exercise more. You can study. You can read. You can open that business you've been wanting to open. You can write that book you've been wanting to write. A lot of people aren't working right now. You're able to collect unemployment. So while that income from unemployment is coming in, use that time wisely. We may never see this type of pause, break in life for many years. So take advantage of it. And just know that what will be, will be. And you should have peace in that. Of course, be smart, be wise, make good choices and good decisions. But at the end of the day, what will be, what will be. Okay. Don't forget to look up colloidal silver. Look up different vitamins that you should be boosting up on, minerals. Remember, I was mentioning from the previous podcast, you can put different ingredients in a pot of water on the stove and boil it, and it will filter through the home, and you could actually stand over it and breathe it in. now is not the time to be suspicious and worry about labels. No. Do the research on your own. Forget about the label. Do the research and see what really is going on. And is it beneficial for your body? You should be a medicine woman and a medicine man in your home. You are the first doctor. And then you seek help if you can't figure it out. But they've taught us to go right to the ER. That's wrong. Figure it out. And your last resort should be the hospital. Okay? And that's usually for surgeries, because we haven't mastered what all it takes to do a successful surgeries. And that's okay. But we should be able to handle everything else. So, it was a pleasure speaking with you guys again. I'm sorry for the delayed podcast. I'm juggling more things in my life now. But this is my baby, so I'll be paying more attention to my podcast and different things that I learned to share, because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Hey y'all, it's your girl Meesh, and welcome to a new year of the episode Love Meesh Podcast, where I share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, but no subject is off limits. It's a billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. So welcome to my world, and let the conversation continue. Thanks a million for listening. You can reach me on all my other social media platforms by visiting my Linktree, which is luv.meesh. I hope you have a better than great day. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.